Hey you guys, welcome back to another video. I have my makeup on. If you haven't seen my last video, links in the description for you guys to check it out. Like, subscribe, follow me, and everything. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Today, we're going to be talking about D.B. Cooper. But yeah, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and follow me on everything. Roll the intro. Okay, so, if you haven't seen The Mystery of D.B. Cooper, or you haven't even heard about it, it's a very sad and mysterious story that hasn't even been solved yet. It is unsolvable, essentially. There are tons of people who have tried to solve it. There have been detectives and policemen and everyone, basically. No one has been able to solve it. Today, I'm going to be reading you this story. In 1971, D.B. Cooper hijacked a flight for $200,000 ransom, then disappeared after parachuting from the plane. The case remains the only unsolved commercial airline hijacking. A man who came to be known as D.B. Cooper used a bomb threat to hijack a flight from Portland, Oregon, to settle Washington on November 21st, 1971, after the jet landed in Seattle. Passengers debarked and $200,000 was placed on board, along with parachutes requested by the hijacker. The plane then took off Mexico City mid-flight. Cooper jumped off the plane and subsequently disappeared. The FBI sent years of investigation in the case, which called Nordic for North hijacking, though hundreds of subjects were considered and 5,800 of random money was found. Hijacker was never identified. In 2016, the FBI said it was closing its investigation through the decision didn't dim public interest in Cooper hijacking. On November 21st, 1971, a man calling himself Dan Cooper, at the time proof of the identity was not required by airlines, paid $18.52 in cash for a one-way ticket from Portland to Seattle, or Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 on board the Boeing jet. He had a bourbon and soda, smoked cigars, and gave flight attendants a note that said he had a bomb. He showed the attendant the case containing wires, a red stick. The plane's captain was made aware of the hijackers' demands, $200,000 and $20 bills, as well as 4 parachutes. Getting money and parachutes ready took a few hours, so the flight circled in the air after making it to Seattle. 36 passengers, 2 crew members embarked in exchange for the ransom. The plane suffered 4 remaining crew members, 2 pilots, a flight engineer, a flight attendant, then took off Mexico City. Cooper demanded the jet fly lower, 10,000 feet, and speeds under 200 knots. Sorry about the dinging, it's my girlfriend. Anyway, while the crew was cockpit, Cooper lowered the stairs at the back of the plane and jumped out shortly after 8 p.m. The jet continued to hold on, guys. Sorry, this is fuck. There we go. While the crew in the cockpit, Cooper lowered the stairs at the back of the plane and jumped out shortly after 8 p.m. The jet continued Reno, Nevada, as news of the hijacking spread, reporting mistake rendered. The hijacker, named as D.B. Cooper instead of Dan Cooper, is misnaming entered the public lexicon. Investigation. After the flight, sketch artist reports of the hijacker was created. The FBI described Cooper as white male, 6'1", tall, 170 to 175 pounds, age mid-40s, olive complexion, brown eyes, black hair, a conventional cut, parted on the left. The FBI agents collected evidence including the hijacker's clip-on necktie and 8 cigarette butts. Though Cooper had not left random notes behind, agents also undertook ground searches and conducted interviews. More than 800 suspects would come to Brenner's attention over the first 5 years of the investigation. The disappearance. One theory of the case is Cooper didn't survive some being either his jump, the conditions in which he landed. He left the plane during a storm, amid 200 miles per hour winds, and might have been able to deploy his chute. Even his parachute did open. It was not type that could steer a landing through wooded terrain. Night dangerous, particularly for a man wearing a suit, loafers, and a trench coat. Law enforcement were in the air following the hijacker's flight, but didn't see Cooper's jump. Cooper has substantiated that instead of the flight path FBI used in the investigation, Cooper actually left the plane while it was on what has dubbed the western flight path, about 7 miles further west. Manhunt, therefore, might have been focused on the wrong area. Sorry. Now, I'm going to keep going for a couple more things, but as soon as I get to... I'm just going to read one more little page, and then I'm going to end the video. In 1980, a boy camping with his family found 5,800 buried money bags in Washington Columbia River. Serial numbers on the bills inked them to the Cooper case. However, the location of the disappearance near Portland, Oregon, was several miles from Cooper's subjected jump zone of Washington. The area was searched, but no evidence was located. No bills from Cooper's ransom have been discovered in the circulation. Suspects since 1971. Many men have undergone under suspicion for possibly being Cooper. Among them are Robert Rockstraw, was a military veteran, parachuting training who had several bushes in law. He was dismissed as a suspect by the FBI, but in 2018, a fellow veteran said he'd decoded messages alleged sent by Cooper that inculpated Rackstraw before his 2019 death. Rackstraw at times made cryptic comments about the case rather than denying involvement. So, what we're going to talk about right now is that DB Cooper, sorry, I don't know why I can't talk right now, but essentially this was a very, very bad man. And you would think after a while he would be caught, but he's not. He's not caught. Not one time has he been caught. Now, it could be because he's dead. It could be because he was just, the cops just don't know where to look. And long story short, he asked for money and took it. What was really awkward is that when he jumped, the actual D.G. Cooper was never found. He was never found and located. Wasn't even seen aside from the people in the plane jumping out of the plane. And most of that money that he took was actually burnt up. I am not kidding. There were several. I've actually read this case and actually watched videos on it. And as the plane crashed, reports of burnt money, burnt $20 bills were all over the place. And of course, the cops took some of it, but they were going to take all of it. But since there was such a mass amount of $20 bills, there wasn't enough time. So they only took a couple, and they tested it for fingerprints, and yet they could not find any. Now, it is unclear if he had gloves on or not, or if he wiped it off. Or if he probably didn't even touch them at all. So, finding fingerprints was completely useless. And even if there was fingerprints, there was no clear indication that he was in the system at all. So we don't know if he had a criminal record or not, because not every hijacker has a criminal record. It could be a person who is normal, but then turned to a life of crime. So we don't know. We don't even know if that is his real name, Cooper, or not. It could have been an alias. So if he's intelligent enough to jump out of a plane with cash and never get caught, who knows? Maybe he lied about his name as well. Why would you give your real name if you're going to hijack a plane? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it seems stupid to believe that he would give his real name. There are several pictures that have been taken of him, and by pictures I mean sketches. Then they have both black and white and colored, and even that doesn't help, which is weird. They have a lot of people that died and were injured on that plane. There were a few that were just injured and they survived. However, they do not like to talk about it because of fear of reliving that moment, which you cannot blame them. You don't know how bad it is to be in a plane crash, survive, but even years later, the PTSD from that experience could haunt you and make you extremely depressed and anxiety or whatever. Another thing I want to say about this case is that it's very interesting because the first person he has told about this was the flight attendant, which I think it's weird how the flight attendant just is like, oh, okay, I gotta go tell the captain. And the guy's like, yeah, fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna drink my bourbon and my soda. Hey, excuse me, ma'am, I have a bomb, and, I'm gonna blow up this plane unless I get money and parachutes. Another thing I want to ask is that D.B. Cooper was the only person on that plane who was hijacking it, and yet he asked for 4 parachutes. If he's the only one who's hijacking it, why did he ask for 4? Why not just 1? So that leads me to believe that maybe he wasn't alone. Maybe there were people else on that plane who were acting scared, who were supposed to be undercover hijackers disguised as normal passengers. 4 parachutes. That means there were 3 other people there who were helping him. Now, I don't know who exactly they were, but I do have a theory. So, we know that he asked for 4 parachutes. We know there were that would be him plus 3 other people. So what if he had people disguised as passengers, and after he got his cash and the parachutes, he stashed them in back and took more hostages, and those hostages escaped with him and covered his ass. Of course, no one was ever found, so I don't know if he killed them or they stuck together. We know that he hid a lot of the money everywhere, and not all of it was recovered. There are still money out there linked to this crime. So, my theory is that he had 3 other members in his crew. Things didn't go well with them once they landed, so of course he took the money. Now, when you take money from criminals, they're going to hunt you down. So of course he spread out the money in different places, attempting to return it. While attempting to go after the money, he ran into his old hijacking buddies, and they killed him and dismembered his body. But before killing them, my theory is that they tried to get money out of him. They tried to tell him where the money is, but he denied, and they ended up killing him, which, in my opinion, is... how do I put this? It's counterintuitive. Why would you kill the person that knows where the money is? They probably did that thinking, oh, it's probably just at his house or in his car. But in reality, he buried it all over the United States. So we don't know where exactly they are. We just know they are in the U.S. So how? How has his body never been recovered if he's dead? Of course, there are many, many ways they could have done this, but my theory is that since everything is in the woods or in remote locations, my theory is that they hid him in the one place they knew they wouldn't find him, the ocean. The ocean is huge, and most of it hasn't even been explored yet. So my theory is that after killing them, they threw him in the ocean, and no one has ever found him yet. And they must have threw him in a remote location so out in the ocean that no one would think to look there, and that's why he has never been found. So that is my theory. That is the whole case of D.T. Cooper. If you want to hear more about these creepy videos, if you want to learn more about these really weird and scary unsolved mysteries, let me know in the comments, and I will make more. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, follow me on everything, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. And I will be doing another makeup tutorial soon, but right now, I am not, so please enjoy this video and share it with everyone. So, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.